So guys, we have the next task or event for additional stash. We turn in bitcoins at part 6, right? And then we go to part 7, and actually part 11 pops out simultaneously, which is pretty interesting. Part 11 is popping for people who needs to meet up with Lightkeeper for next task, as far as I understand. If you already have Lightkeeper, you don't really need to care about it that much. So let's talk about part 7 and 8 first. And after that, we'll talk about part 11 and 12. Part 7 is where you just need to talk to Peacekeeper and he will give you another task, which is part 8. And part 7 will be completed right away. The problem is part 8. You need to use Luof gears and collapse 10 scabs in each map except labs. So what is Luof gears? Luof gears is Russian armed force gears, which is basically all the gears that's made from Russia, including the ones from proper cells. I will give you guys the link for it in the top pinned comment. There's a wiki page which shows the perfect examples for it, but basically if it contains 6B on the first letters, it will be a proper gear for the task. So by going every map and clapping 10 scabs, you will finish this task. I want to point out one thing though, it feels like they lowered the scab spawn chance a little bit. So after that, we don't really have part 9. I think it's again time gated, which will happen after 24 hours after they dropped part 7 and 8. So let's move on to part 11 and 12. The part 11 is actually for getting acquainted with Lightkeeper task. It's originally same to the ones we already had to meet up with Lightkeeper. But before, we need to do a bunch of prior tasks such as network provider, which also needed to complete a bunch of tasks such as all these, and also you need to do network provider 2 and the assessment. Network provider part 2 is the task, which is exactly same as part 11 of the event task, where you need to put the radio repeater on certain places. So 1, you gotta put in here, 2, you gotta put it planted on this part, number 1 Charlotte, and 1 you gotta put here, which you can overlook at sunken house thing from the hill, and you gotta plant 1 on the sunken house, which is this one. If you go on top of the roof, you can see this electrical box. The event task will progress to part 12, which is exactly same as the key to the tower. You have to find a bunch of items in raid and then hand it to mechanic. However, it's not gonna be a complete Lightkeeper access. The radio transmitter body is not complete. You gotta decode the transmitter to actually meet up with Lightkeeper. So there's a part where you need to decode the code from the transmitter. I don't think that's been provided yet as an event task. I'm thinking that it might drop as task 13. So if you already have Lightkeeper unlocked, you don't really need to do part 11 and 12. It will fail immediately and then you will be done with the task. And you will get additional reputation from Lightkeeper for failing the task because it means that you already know him. Just a quick little advice for the guys who are struggling with bitcoins and also challenging for part 12 where you need to hand in bunch of items, which is pretty rare. Go Lighthouse and check out Chalet Cottage and also Row Camp. I recommend you guys Row Camp a lot because it is a pretty difficult part to check. So there aren't a lot of people who actually check the places where you need to check, as a scab especially. As a PMC, you might want to spawn somewhere and then you just check the closest place and then put your Bitcoin in your butt and then get out. Or find SGC10, which is the most annoying part of the part 12 task. And also for the Bitcoin, there's a barter from mechanic, which you can barter with two Tetris and 2 green batteries, which can be also found in Lighthouse, which is pretty good. And you can do some task which is related to Bitcoin. 1 can be obtained from Spot Toward Part 2, and 1 can be obtained from Import, and 1 can be obtained from Fertilizers. Do check out Tarkov Wiki for the exact details. Actually, I gotta talk about this real quick. The additional stash low seems to be 2 lows on the stash rather than a weapon stand, because from XLTB, he confirmed with BSG that it's actually an additional stash 2 rows. But I'm also like consider, because on the roadmap, they did say before the wipe they're gonna give us the weapon rack. If you see it on the roadmap, I thought it was gonna be the weapon stand, but since somebody confirmed with BSG, I guess it's not. I have a little hope that it's just a double joke from BSG, because you know it's kind of lame. We have like same rewards for the top rating guys on top 10 on the leaderboard, and also the quest line having the same rewards. I think it's kind of lame if it's like that. Anyways, and also guys, I'm planning to make a scav map tier list before the wipe actually happens, or maybe after the wipe I will drop it with the Streets of Tarkov's expansion. It's gonna be a pretty big video, and actually I will tell you the conclusion already for now. Because we don't have Streets of Tarkov expansion yet, Lighthouse is the best map to find the valuables and the top tier loots, such as bitcoins and all these high-tech electrical units such as SGC-10. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. Hope this helped with you, and if it actually helped, please press that like button. And also, I will be streaming at Twitch whenever the event drops. We can communicate together to actually finish the task as quick as possible as a community. So do check out my stream if you guys are willing to. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.